As we work towards social justice and equality, 3 News Now is bringing you stories of people, plans, and projects aimed at showing you how Omaha is moving forward.
And with this month being Hispanic Heritage Month, 3 News Now anchor Maya Signs introduces us to an Omaha native who didn't like the direction his community was headed, so he's doing something about it and helping them move forward.
I am born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska.
Antonio Espejo, or Tony as many know him as, is a proud SOB, a South Omaha boy. He grew up here and graduated from Gross Catholic High School. After graduation, he enrolled in the Marine Corps and served from 1992 to 1996.
Got to go to a lot of different places and experience a lot of different cultures and see a lot of different people.
He then came back to Omaha and realized his neighborhood in South Omaha had changed.
It was totally different. I mean, there was a lot of gang shootings, a lot of Latino gangs, taggings, shootings, killings, all that stuff. And I was like, wow, this place totally changed.
That prompted him to join law enforcement, and in 2000, he became an Omaha police officer. He began working other parts of town, itching to get to work in his neighborhood.
Back then, South Omaha was an area that people wanted to work because there was action, you know what I'm saying? You're going after bad guys every day and you know, going after shooters and things like that. So it was hard to get, it's about seniority, so it was hard to get South Omaha.
His hard work paid off, and in 2004, he was accepted into the gang unit.
So 2004, 2005, we hit the pavement, you know, hard. You know, doing search warrants, getting gang members, getting guns, getting dope off the street, things along those lines.
But he noticed at the end of 2005, nothing was changing.
Every time we take a gang member down, there'd be somebody to replace him, especially a leader to replace him.
In 2005, he and another officer attended a gang symposium in Florida. There, he met Robert Mazakowski, whose original story was depicted in the Hollywood film Hardball. That's where his idea to start a sports program for kids in Omaha began.
So as soon as I land, the next day I go to work, I start driving around South Omaha looking for these kids, seeing, you know, I was going to start a baseball league. Because that's what Bob did, you know, and I knew baseball. I grew up playing baseball, and I knew a lot of cops that played baseball. And I said, well, all right, I'm going to start a baseball league. But when I drove around South Omaha, I noticed that these kids weren't playing baseball, they were playing soccer. So at that time, you know, God hit me with lightning and said, I guess you're going to learn how to play soccer.
After looking up the rules behind soccer, he found an old field located at 22nd and O Streets. He renovated it and made it a soccer field.
And then I wanted on Friday nights, which was my busiest night of the week, if I could keep this group of kids busy Friday nights, maybe there'd be less, you know, these kids being exposed to gangs or being shot by gangs or being checked by gangs or having to join gangs just to survive.
That's when he founded PACE, Police Athletics for Community Engagement, in which police officers coach youth sports teams. He started with these 6 teams.
You know, the next year we did it, I went from 6 teams to 20 teams. Then I went from 20 teams to 25 teams. 25, 30, 45, 50, 55, 60, 70, 80, 90, to where the last 2 years we've been close to 100 soccer teams.
Oh, here we go.
Tony did all this work voluntarily while serving as a gang unit officer. But in 2012, the program had grown too much, so he began working with PACE full time.
I mean, it's 10 times easier to do this than it is to build, it's cheaper to do this than it is to build jails.
Tony, who is also involved with the Latino Peace Officers Association, says now, 20 years later after first returning from the Marines, he now sees his neighborhood restored.
The most rewarding part of this is when you see kids like I've talked about that are now 28, 29 years old that were part of my program, coming back to volunteer, coaching, reffing, but most importantly appreciative of, you know, that we were there for them and helped keeping them out of trouble.
In Omaha, Maya Signs, 3 News Now.
Well, the PACE organization has ultimately supported about 6,000 kids with their program, including soccer, baseball, flag football, and CrossFit. Tony hopes soon to hit 10,000 kids. You can find more information and all of our Moving Forward and Hispanic Heritage Month stories. Just visit our website, it's 3newsnow.com, and click on the Moving Forward tab. There's also a place where you can let us know if you have an idea.